My name is Amanda Nav, and I'm your podcast host for today. So, the title of this podcast, it's all about healing narcissistic abuse. And I would like to welcome you to this podcast, a space where I interview inspiring leaders and experts from around the world who share transformational stories, breakthrough tools, and real life wisdom and from different various of industries. So today I'm honored to be interviewing Luke Lintott, a powerful voice in the world of hosting a Bali retreat. He's a lifestyle consultant, founder and CEO of Fitzgerald, author and a retreat host who, like me, has experienced the deep wounds of narcissistic abuse and chose the path of healing. And in these episodes, actually, we're diving deeper about narcissistic. And I'm so excited about this, Luke. It is because I also experience it, and I know you are the expert of this. But before I will welcome you, I would like also to share a better understanding of why we're doing this. So our objective actually here is to share our personal experience, educate people about narcissistic abuse, what it is, and how it affects victims, and how healing and recovery are possible through awareness, support, and self-awareness. And yes, and of course, to highlight also the transformational retreat that our guest speaker for today will be sharing, and also offer tools and insights for healing. It's very interesting. So yes, welcome here, Luke. Good morning to you. I know it's morning there in Thailand.
Good morning, Amanda, and everyone out there. Thank you so much for having me on your podcast. And this is such a relevant discussion as relationships fuel your well-being, the healthy ones and the unhealthy ones. And so we're going to go deeper today about how to truly heal from these experiences. And of course, like Amanda said, share more about what we do and our own personal experiences. And for those of you who do not know me, my name is Luke. I'm a lifestyle consultant. I'm now based in Thailand. And as Amanda mentioned, yes, we are reuniting later this year for the upcoming SoulFit Summit Bali Retreat. So we'll be going deeper into the modalities, some of which we'll be doing at the Bali Retreat, and many of which we also do any place, anywhere, since all of my clients right now are online. I'm 100% virtual. So thank you so much for having me onto your show, Amanda.
It's so cool, look, because of course I just want also to share it to our audience that when I met you, that was like a few months only, and actually I scroll into your Facebook and I was so amazed, and I said, he's talking about narcissistic abuse. And did you know that I wasn't even aware what is narcissistic? That was like 5 years ago. And the symptoms actually were really, really confused me a lot. In how did I found out about narcissistic abuse is that I experienced actually the symptoms, but I wasn't aware what it is. And then when I tried to Google it, guess what? Oh my goodness, I was so shocked about this term narcissistic abuse. And I decided that I'm going to find somebody who is at least 5 or 10 steps ahead of me about this, this word called narcissistic. And when I found you on Facebook through a friend, of course, you know his name. He's amazing friend of mine. And and I told to myself, I'm going to reach out to him. No excuses. I'm really going to reach out to him. And that was like last month. I reached out to you and thank you so much for acknowledging my emotions and everything. And you said yes to this podcast. So yes, can you please tell more about your personal experience and how did you really overcome this situation? And now you are helping people around the world. How can they also reclaim their power?
Absolutely. So I wanted to just take a step back also and kind of I like take some time to identify what is a narcissistic relationship, which is different than an unhealthy relationship. So if you're feeling drained from a relationship, like we have those people out there that are a little bit lower vibe that we feel worse after we spend time with them. They might not necessarily support us and listen to us. and it can be a little bit annoying, right? Those types of relationships I think of as unhealthy, okay? It can just be kind of like, oh, I think I'd rather just not be around blank person because they're just not feeling it today. They just had an off day, okay? But they really do think about the bigger picture, but it's just an unhealthy relationship because we don't have the same common shared values, okay? And maybe life goals are going in a different direction than us. That's okay. Now, a narcissistic relationship is a relationship that is one-sided, where you are being used and you're not being elevated by that person. And there's actually there's a process in a narcissistic relationship where when the narcissist finds out that they can't use you anymore, you will be discarded. So there's actually a step-by-step process that you'll see with many narcissistic relationships. And once again, narcissistic relationships have different levels. So once again, with some, and we see this in our families sometimes with people, even with friends of our past, once again, there's narcissism where it can be a kind of annoying, where they don't think outside of themselves. And then there are relationships where they're sociopaths, where they actually get pleasure out of your pain, right? And so I encourage you, if you even, no matter where it is on that spectrum, including when it is someone that you love, that you're related to by blood, when it's someone that you've had a relationship with, maybe it is a friend from the past that you've outgrown. When you identify them as being a true narcissist, I invite you to ask yourself, what would you do if they never change? What would you do if they never change, right? Because, and that's one, and you can see this in my best-selling book. I give you a checklist for identifying narcissistic relationships. One of the key cornerstone features of a person that has narcissistic traits is that they do not respond to coaching or therapy. So no matter how many therapists they go to, no matter how many coaches they go to, it typically does not work. Now there are coaches that focus on narcissists, and I highly encourage people that desire to heal to go and work with those people. But we've seen it oftentimes that it just doesn't happen, right? And the thing is too, with narcissistic people, you'll notice that during their lifespan, because they've used people for their entire life, at the end of their lives, they typically end up alone. They end up alone and lonely. And now we're in a time where we have the information. We can identify their traits, and we're not being abused as may have happened in the past with past generations in terms of relationships, in terms of, business beyond, right? Because and the list goes on, some other hacks, of course. Not only does coaching and therapy not work with someone who is a narcissistic individual, but you'll notice that they speak in generalities. So they'll say, everyone knows blank about you, Amanda. Everyone, there's not specificity when they're talking about things, and that's the way to, in some sense, control others. You'll also notice other things like they literally will not be able to think beyond themselves, okay? And they're always bringing bad news to you. Now, if you're and there's like literally a list in my book, chapter 14, relationships fueling your well-being, in my best-selling book, where you can actually see how, is this a narcissistic relationship? Is this going to be something that's going to bring me higher or bring me lower? Okay. And the thing is, like, the longer that you stay connected with someone who is using you, the worse it will be for your health, okay? It is damaging. I'm a strong believer that emotional abuse is often worse than physical abuse, especially in our society that is based off of images, that is based off of concrete evidence. A person who has experienced narcissistic abuse may not have bruises on their bodies, they might not have broken bones, but those words, those actions, the lies that they experience can affect your spirit, can affect who you are, right? And stop you from reaching your dreams. Whether it is your dreams in business, your dreams in love, your dreams in health, right? And you see this over and over and over in studies that they've done on people that face health issues. Specifically, there's the ACEs study in the United States of America, the Adverse Childhood Experiences study, and you see that people that experience these things as children have higher rates of obesity, have higher rates of self-harm, higher rates of suicide themselves, right? And so it's incredibly important that you do the healing work, you identify these unhealthy and narcissistic relationships, and rather you surround yourself with people who are lifting you higher, okay? And so, because you are really the composition of the 5 people closest to you, so be careful who you surround yourself with.
Oh, wow, that's a lot. And I'm very curious, look, because not everybody is aware. Maybe here on my Facebook, I believe that I have so many friends. They're actually experiencing that trauma but they're not really aware. That's why I decided to talk about this because it's not easy to talk about this narcissistic here on social media. But I decided to do it is because it's very important to me. It's a calling for me actually. And look, I'm really curious. What were your experience last time? Who you was? I mean, how do you think last time? Because maybe I can share mine. It looked like I was very stagnant. I couldn't think, I couldn't function. And then I already knew that I have the potential, but I cannot go beyond that. I cannot stretch. It seems like I'm staying in a cave that I couldn't help myself to get out. So that's what's happening to most of the people nowadays. They seems to stay stuck and they hardly get out from that comfort zone because, the trauma, the gaslighting, the manipulating and everything. So what were your experience last time and how did you come to a point that this is enough? And then you just doing the amazing work that you're doing today. So yeah, I would like to hear that.
Yeah, and I just want to say before I share my own story, use your wounds as a wisdom, right? These challenging experiences that many of you may be experiencing can make you stronger, as Amanda said. So the experiences that I have taught me so much that I couldn't have just learned reading in a book, even getting my master's in counseling. So I think so I'm really grateful for these challenging relationships that I had growing up, that I've had with those that were meant to love me, right? That did not think beyond themselves. And in my personal experience, Amanda, because I believed what I was told, because like you mentioned earlier, the manipulation, I questioned my reality. I always grew up thinking and believing that there was something wrong with who I was, that I was not a powerful person. I was not confident in myself. It manifested in me physically having unhealthy, toxic, and narcissistic relationships, literally in my skin, in how I carried myself, in my own relationships. So in terms of love, in terms of friendship, before I healed these wounds, I attracted and I felt at home with negative relationships, both in love and also in terms of even friendships, right? I would tolerate so much abuse in so many different arenas outside of that experience, of my experiences growing up, and it affected everything, right? So I invite you to really question if something feels familiar or if it feels good, okay? Because if you've been through narcissistic abuse, something that is not healthy, that is harmful to you, could feel like home. And so that's where it's really important to do the reprogramming. And so, Amanda, that's what I go deeper to it with my clients, and that I've done with myself and that I offer to the world is reprogramming your subconscious mind and releasing these blocks and these things that you have stored in your body, okay? The body keeps the score. So when you have a painful emotional experience, you have a fight with this person, they've used you for something, right? Your body will hold on to this feeling, and it's not even stored as a memory. It's stored as it's a painful emotion that literally will trigger you, okay? So if you don't heal that experience, you can be triggered over and over and over, right? And this can stop you from getting good sleep. This can stop you from being able to focus. Like yours truly, I always tell people, like, before I did all this healing work, my score in reading on the GRE was really low because I could not focus. And then the last time I took my this is an examination you take before graduate school. The After doing the yoga, doing the hypnosis, the meditations, having positive relationships myself, going to therapy, doing coaching, right? Literally, my reading score jumped because I was able to focus. And so many other things have happened. I found in my business, I've been able to call in true love, healthy relationships. Okay. I just wanted to bring that up just to give you all hope, but just know that it can really be detrimental to your overall health, even your mental health, your physical health beyond, if you allow that painful experience to keep you locked into a pattern, okay? But yeah, there are tools out there. We are in 2025, y'all. So we have all the information, and that's what I talk more about in my book. And the difference between doing and a big thing that's different about my programs and what I offer my clients is we do something called hypnosis. So hypnosis is so amazing because we can go deep. It's a very deep meditation where we go deep into the 95% of your mind, the subconscious that's running the game, and reprogram those beliefs that may have been tainted, darkened by that part narcissistic relationship, right? So that you can speak up against the narcissist, you can cut the ties with that person, even if they're a loved one, right? You can set those boundaries. And because the reality is, yeah, there are certain people in our lives, family that we may have to interact with. But I just want to invite you with people that are manipulating you. It's really important that we have clear communication. This includes text, this includes emails. It doesn't necessarily include what we're speaking, right? Because if I have a conversation with someone who is manipulating me, they can actually twist it and then tomorrow say that you didn't say that, right? When it's written down in a text, you can be like, actually, I did say that, and you're able to really keep that boundary, okay, for people that you can't necessarily have that trust, because trust is the foundation of it all. So trusting
Wow.
yourself is the most important thing, okay?
Wow. So that's so powerful of you, but not everybody can do what we do. That's why we're here showing up. So thank you so much for sharing that. And I have another questions that once you are a victim of this narcissistic, I believe that not it's not easy to get out. So what what's your thoughts regarding this? Especially, of course, we're not just talking about friendship, we're not just talking about relationship, but mostly our focus now here is about relationship, I believe. And again, narcissistic can be friendship, organization, or maybe your bosses. And your loved ones. And then look, it's not easy to get out from that situation. So those people who are listening right now, what advice can you give it to them for them to help themselves to get out from this situation? Even especially if they're so attached with the person, especially if they love that person and they couldn't really help themselves to get out from that situation or from that relationship.
Yeah, thank you for bringing up this question. It's very valid. So I want to be really clear that love and a relationship are two intertwined and two different things. I can love you from a distance. I can love you from afar. And I talk more in my book about having love boundaries with people, right? That don't align with your boundaries, with your rules that you have in a relationship. I like to think of a relationship, Amanda, as a garden. Even you and I right now. We're in different countries, but we have rules that we're following, right? We picked a time we're going to meet. We discussed before what topics we're going to talk about, right? So on and so forth. We chatted before we did this live podcast. We're both following the rules. So we have an amazing, beautiful garden that is this podcast that we're building and our relationship. Maybe hopefully we'll see each other in the future at some point in real life. Now, similarly in a romantic relationship, the same goes, right? So like if and I have been in relationships, of course, once again with people that are narcissistic, and you'll see when you're taking care of the garden that is your relationship together, the narcissist will typically not follow the rules that you agreed upon. Sometimes they will tell you up to your face, I'm not going to follow your rules, whether it is being loyal to you, whether it is treating you kindly, consistently, whatever those things are. Sometimes they don't, right? And sometimes I prefer if they just tell us, right? So at the front end, when they tell us, we once again, if you're in a relationship, if you're dating someone and you realize like, hey, I'm a monogamous person. This person just told me that they're not willing to be monogamous. We can't work on this relationship, right? Because we haven't agreed upon the terms of our relationship. That's just an example, right? There could be so many other things. You can also agree that you're going to be polyamorous, right? Um, now, if you are in a relationship with someone, you start to realize that they are not following your agreed upon boundaries over and over and over. But you've been putting in so much time into this relationship, right? There are people that have been in a relationship with narcissists for years, for decades. And I just want to send like a clear signal to you, to the people out there that are dealing with this, that it's time to get out. It's time to get out of this relationship. In the short term, it may feel like it's going to be better, right? Because maybe you are codependent, maybe you're relying on each other physically, financially, the list goes on. But in the long term, of course, your spirit is being affected by this relationship. It can darken the essence of who you are. This will bleed into your business. It will bleed into your other relationships and all that you're calling in. I can just say from personal experience, it's challenging, like taking those baby steps. So the first step I would mention is to start talking with people about what's happening. Stop pushing it under the rug and find someone that you can trust to talk to, whether that be a friend, whether that be a therapist, whether that be a coach, okay? And speak like listen to this podcast, get yourself educated, right? Check out my book. There's also tons of books out there that specifically focus on narcissistic abuse, right? Like go get yourself educated, okay? And then once you have those tools, once you have the community, once you have the help, then you can start safely making those pivots out of that relationship, okay? And Amanda, as we know, like there are different ways to lovingly uncouple with someone who is abusing you emotionally or otherwise. With someone who is narcissistic, it might be a good idea to plan things out without telling that person every single detail because there's, like I said, there's a process with a narcissistic relationship. When the narcissist realizes they can't use you anymore, we actually enter something called the discard phase. So in the discard phase of a narcissistic relationship, that's when they start treating you like a child. They'll start yelling at you. It's their final push to control you when they realize they can't control you no more because you're leaving. So yes, I would invite you to have everything planned so that you can safely leave, so that like, for example, you don't have a shared bank account. You don't have, you make sure that you have one copy of the key. They don't have the key to your where you live because who knows what they're going to do if they find out that you are for sure leaving on Tuesday, the second of the month or whatever it is. So plan everything out accordingly. And that's why it's important to have a trusted advisor, friends, people who have been through this experience, that you get your education right, before you are, because I would say like a lot of the times, people that are narcissistic individuals, they are very much attracted to the most amazing, wonderful, heart-centered people. Because oftentimes those of us that have that ability to relate and to understand, even understand someone who is narcissistic, we are the ones that we're like fried chicken, right? Where sometimes we're like the ones where they're like, wow, I could use this person for years and they wouldn't catch on. So we have to really have our guard up and know that yeah, you don't got to share everything you're going to do with them. And that's why you're listening to this podcast. This is your first step. And so connect with Amanda, connect with me, shoot us a direct message, right? We're living, breathing humans. And maybe you need to go on a retreat. Maybe you need to join one of our wellness
Let's
coaching
talk about the
programs.
retreat. Let's talk about the retreat later. And okay, thank you so much for sharing that to us. And I believe also that narcissistic people, they will never ever change. What are your thoughts with that?
Yeah, I believe in the ability of humans to transform who they are, right? You become what you believe, not what you think. Now, at the same time, there's a difference between awareness. Hey, Amanda, I'm aware that I was really an asshole yesterday. I'm so sorry. Next, right? Those, when you're aware and you said it, and it depends on the energy that they even say, I'm sorry. We don't really talk about that. If they say, I'm sorry, these are the steps I'm taking. I'm going to therapy. I'm not going to do it again, blank, blank, blank. And they're genuinely sorry. That's different than I'm sorry. And I said I'm sorry, right? I don't know. We know we've all had that before where they're like, check, I said I'm sorry, but there was no action and the energy behind it was actually pretty angry, right? Pretty upset that they even had to say I'm sorry. So it's really important to recognize that, okay? Because if someone wants to change, Amanda, it as we both know, I can speak for myself. I've gone through a body transformation myself. In terms of myself, I've every single day, man, I'm doing my affirmations, I'm doing my hypnosis, I'm showing up to the gym, going to yoga after I train my own clients. Like it is a daily ritual. It's something that you need to be working at every day if you're going to be stepping into a new energy to transform your life, right? So and once again, with narcissistic individuals, if they are a true narcissist, and we're talking about 1 to 2% of people, those ones, it's going to take some time, okay? And there are, of course, people out there that no matter what they do, they can't see beyond themselves. And so just, yeah, once again, like ask yourself, like you were saying, if they are in that category, if you're already sensing that they haven't changed, it's even after they get sober, even after they do blank, blank, and blank, they're still using and abusing. That's indicative that it might be a long-term personality trait since they're not willing, able, or wanting to change.
That's really true. And my experience, maybe I can share this with our audience. So the list of symptoms is unlimited. The, so maybe they can also like write down the symptoms that they are, experiencing. If they can already like validate that they're experiencing this for like maybe a month or maybe a decade, then it's time for people also to just stop. Like what I did last time. I said, I I am very aware of what's happening. So the symptom is like unlimited, it's more than 100. And if I allow these symptoms to happen over and over, as like what you said, it will like stuck into our like, become we become you know sick, emotional abuse whatsoever. But the feeling is something that is not okay. It's so ugly. And I also experienced to cry under my pillow and ask myself, why am I experiencing this? But along the way I realized that God is really testing me. And again, this is our calling to the universe. And that's why I would like to connect with you. It is because you are sharing about this retreat and you are hosting it. And people can truly immerse into that Bali retreat. And I would like for you also to share or expand about how your retreat help people around the world. How did they really get benefited from that retreat? Maybe you can expand a little bit.
Yeah, so what's wonderful with Bali is we are going to be doing the things. We're going to be going to the actual temples, do a water purification ceremony. We're going to, of course, get out into nature, which in and of itself is healing. We're going to be doing some clean eating. We are going to the heart chakra of the world, Bali, Indonesia. So a big hack to healing after challenging shift from the past is to really get out of where you physically are now. Small steps can mean getting literally out of where you live, go on a walk, get to the park, okay, get to the gym, get to a yoga class, okay. But number two, when you get into a whole new environment with a supportive, loving community that is handpicked for energetic alignment, like what we're doing at the Bali retreat, anything is truly possible. And that's really goes back to my own experience in joining my first retreat back in 2019. That gave me the courage, the push, the love to found my business, to come out, come home, come alive, and to also release those toxic relationships because I had that community there cheering me on. And so yes, we are going to have a wonderful time in Bali, and we're going to do a deep healing. We're going to be doing a manifestation and magic masterclass together where we're going to reprogram those limiting beliefs that used to keep you stuck and stop those old patterns that may have caused you to self-sabotage in love, that may have stopped you from calling in your soulmate, from founding that business, from tapping into your healthiest, happiest self. Okay. So you have some wonderful individuals joining us from all over the globe. And I'm so inspired by all of the calls I've been doing with people that are interested in joining us. And it's just going to be wonderful. So it's a week experience of healing, transformation, personal growth amongst Bali's serene landscapes. And yeah, we're going to be doing the things. We're doing the yoga, doing the hypnosis, doing the breath work. And once again, like just having a ball. And we have a whole day of self-care. So we know that like with a lot of people that have been in narcissistic relationships, those things were pushed aside, right? Since all of your priorities may have been put towards trying to fix that relationship, may have been put towards trying to, like you said, overcoming the challenging emotions, the tears, what have you. Now, I want to say like the healing work we're going to do in Bali, it's not necessarily like it's going to be this painful experience. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be wonderful, amazing. And you're going to join also me and the Master Oracle, Quentin Stroud, your friend as well. He's flying down from Malaysia. He's going to join us as well. So we're going to be, it includes your readings. It includes your wellness, everything. So I'm extremely excited. So do let me know if you're interested. Just shoot me a DM or visit lukelintott.com/Bali and schedule a consultation with me. I would love to connect with you one-on-one regardless.
Yeah, yeah, wow. It's very interesting. And I'm looking forward also for me to experience your retreat. I believe that I need it. I need it because I am aware of what's happening in my life. And all of us need a retreat actually. And retreat, sometimes other people misunderstood that you're just going there and do some stretching, yoga, and hypnosis. It's actually helped me a lot in overcoming that type of like, narcissistic. And you mentioned just now about the hypnosis. It's really helped me a lot to have that clarity and to have this focus and everything and so aligned. And I was able to, you know, to tell it straight to the person that this is what's happening to you. And I I cannot continue or I cannot tolerate to be like this because I am conscious in our individuals, and I will never allow anyone to just dump me over and over. So yes, and I look forward for other people to be brave and to face the reality that there is always hope out there, and it's time for them also to really work on themselves. It's really, really important. So that's my secret sauce also. How did I overcome that narcissistic abuse in terms of friendship, relationship, bosses relationship, and when I was working, right, look, and I was manipulated and gaslighted, and they belittled me a lot because I wasn't that like confident to confront them. But when I had that courage that mm, these people are really manipulating me, gaslighting me, hurting me over and over until I become smaller and smaller and smaller, and in terms of relationship as well. So, yes, to all of our audience here, our listeners, my friends, my family, and loved ones, if you're listening right now, it's time for you also to focus into yourself and give yourself a gift. And yes, I believe that retreat is the key for us to unlocking all our greatness and of course unlocking the categories of life. I believe in that. So yeah, I'm really excited also and look forward for me to experience your Bali retreats. So maybe you can share also some of your maybe clients, what they gone through by working with you, if you don't mind.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I work with clients all over the world in terms of, wellness coaching clients. I work with clients who are CEOs, public figures who are really game changers and desire to hit their goals in their fitness, whether it is weight loss, it's toning their body, in their business, growing their impact, growing their income, and in healing, right? I work with clients who have been through narcissistic abuse and who truly desire to heal without limit, to feel so good, to live a self-expressed life. And I can tell you with my clients, Amanda, they've had fantastic results working with me. I've had clients lose weight after having challenges related with their body. I've also had clients call in true love. Literally at our last retreat that we hosted here in Thailand, ironically, earlier this year, within days of working with us at the retreat, clients had called in a partner, clients who were in relationship with a good person, had that person move in. So through doing this mind body work and healing work, it's literally manifested three-dimensionally. And so Amanda, as a lifestyle consultant, I empower cultural influencers to live in ease. So part of the process of working with me is that you enjoy life more, right? You enjoy this process of self-rediscovery. And when you work with me, we go through the core framework for life fulfillment, which you can read more about in my book. And the first step, Amanda, is collecting clues on what's going on in your body, your mind, your spirit, your life. Okay. And so once we work together one-on-one, truly anything is possible. And I just got a message the other day from one of my clients, and he was telling me that since working with me, that he has been like, once again, the love has just been going so well, not only with himself, like truly loving who he is, embracing his unique quirkiness and individuality, but he's also called in love and called in positive relationships after going through loss, after losing his loved one and all these things. So yeah, I work with people who have gone through these challenging experiences to actually become stronger from those experiences, which allows them to, like I said, hit their fitness goals, grow that business. So Amanda, I work with a spectrum of individuals, ages 26 all the way to 84. So
Wow.
during the lifespan, our goals change, right? For my clients that are in the field where they're growing their business, right? I work with CEOs, I work with public figures, who through working with me have been empowered to step into their power, right? To step into the dating world, grow their impact. And then with my clients that are advanced in age, it's wonderful. Literally, I've helped my clients walk again. I've helped my clients really get in touch with their spiritual side and just enjoy this journey that we call life. One of my hugely successful adult clients, in their 80s, this person, she is traveling now. She even, it's amazing to see what's possible when you continue to take care of your body.
Wow. And of course, look, I would like also to share my personal experience when I had a conversation with you for more than 1 hour, I believe, and you truly um gave me that boost, that needle to get out from this situation and go and talk about this. And I believe that you are the person who helped me to, go and talk about this. And I've been like planning actually to talk about this narcissistic abuse, narcissistic relationship. And I couldn't really talk about it publicly. I'm not really confident about that. But when I had a conversation with you really helped me to move my life to the next level. And I remember when you mentioned that it's time for you to move on. It's time for you to really listen to your body. And yeah, so that's my experience having a conversation with you. And that's why I said, oh my God, I couldn't even believe that I am doing this interview with you today. Did you know that? It is because when I had a conversation with you, I already made a decision that I'm going to talk this about this narcissistic abuse publicly. And now it's happening. It's because I believe that when I am so aligned with the person that I would like to work with, and everything is smooth, is smooth. So you know what I mean? So yeah, and I believe also that there are so many out there who need your guidance. Sometimes they are very scared to open up, but that's why I'm leading by example here for them also to realize that there is someone experiencing what I experiencing today, and that is me. That's why I am called to talk about this narcissistic abuse. And yes, I'm leading by example here on social media, so I have more than 7,000 followers here, and I believe that they will listen to this live later on. And yeah, so what else we're going to talk about? We already like talk about the healing, about the book also, and the process of your Bali retreat. And yeah, maybe you can add some more if there's something I forgot to ask you about.
Yeah, and I think that's so wonderful, Amanda, that you brought up that we literally have connected one-on-one. And so that's kind of like a sign to me, like for the one, two, three, who knows how many people watching this replay or live and you've gotten to this moment. That's a sign to you to connect with us, right? And a life is a terrible thing to waste. I know for me in my own experience, Amanda, like I was hiding behind my phone for so many years, living a watered down version of who I was meant to become. And I used to, so, but, so when I, before, when I did not deal with these issues and I did not do the healing work after experiencing narcissistic abuse, and you can read more about in my book. Like I had six parental figures things were pretty rocky growing up. And then stepping into adulthood, I kind of pushed it down. I kind of acted like those hard things never happened, right? And I smiled through the pain. I turned to alcohol. I was a heavy drinker for about 15 years. I've been sober for now nearly 4 years. I also noticed it physically, right? You can literally see on my Instagram, there's a picture of me in my 20s when I had the puffy face. I was not loving the person staring back at me in the mirror. Now, since doing this great healing work, I've seen this literally physically manifest in myself. And this includes also for the people that for the people that it's like a feeling inside, right? A lot of the things that have happened to people, you might not be able to see it physically on anybody, but I just want you to know, like, that is a sign that you've mentioned that to in this live podcast that you met with me, right? So for those of you that desire to do a one-on-one confidential session with yours truly, send me a DM. Like, let's set something up, no strings attached, so that we can talk more about your next steps. Ironically, the first time, Amanda, that I joined a coaching program, it was when I was watching a podcast interview just like this back
Oh,
in
wow.
2020. I'd been following this coach for about a year, and I was like, wow, I really vibe with what they're talking about. And I'm just so incredibly happy that I took a chance on myself. And of course, the other things too, I'm so incredibly happy. I went on my first retreat. I went and did therapy. No one does it alone. So that's the thing I wanted to emphasize. And we're kind of in this culture in a lot of the West, especially because we're not in the West, right? You're in Malaysia, I'm in Thailand. But a lot of people in the West, it's this DIY mentality, do it yourself. And I want to invite you, like, to just really ask yourself, like, if you have been doing things on your own, how has that been going, right? Like, what have you seen change? What have you seen not change? Because I know for me, I mean, if I just kept looking at TikToks, Googling things, looking at YouTube, it would only get me so far. And especially now we're in the loneliness epidemic, especially in much of the West, in the USA and beyond, where the average person has just one friend. And so let's change that, y'all. Let's authentically connect beyond just listening to a podcast, beyond just watching those reels. Connect with us, right? We are coaches. We are here to help. And so, yeah, I would just love to extend that invitation, no strings attached. Maybe you are interested in joining us in Bali. Maybe you're interested in something else because once again, like I work with people all over the world. And in fact, I'm also working with people right now to get them ready to go on a retreat, to get you ready to enter the dating world, to make the steps, like you said, Amanda, in getting out of a narcissistic relationship. I work with people in doing that completely confidentially and in a safe environment. Okay. And so yeah, and I'm definitely like I've been doing this work so long. I did this work with Fittergy Wellness and have been running retreats, doing the wellness coaching beyond yoga, fitness beyond. I worked in the schools. I worked in the schools for about 8 years with youth all over California, and so I'm truly committed to transformation in many different senses. And I still love my students. Trust me, my students are still following and watching what I'm watching. My students from a decade ago, so they're all like full-blown adults running around doing great things. Even some of my former students aren't. I looked one of them up. One of them is a politician now. So I just love seeing the impact that we have on our clients over these years and the people we work with.
Wow. It's really good, right? Look, the moment you're self-aware, the moment you are aware of who you are, and it's really amazing because you went to Athena Bali, I mean, retreat last time, and now you're doing it. And um I kind of like forget what I'm about to ask just now. Let me think for a while. So yeah, okay. Just now you mentioned about like watching YouTube and something. I experienced that actually last time. And guess what? What happened to me when I was watching a video and like reading something, I get addicted into that. And I never get healed. It's because it's getting like when you watch short clips and you wanted to have that small clips over and over and over and over and again, and what I am collecting last time, it's the same thing, the cycle, the symptoms. Then I said, hmm, I want to get out from this, but what I am watching is the same over and over. So I hope you get what I mean. So yeah, it's really important for us to really reach out to somebody who already walked the path that's we're walking, right? So yes, it's really important to have a guide, a support, and a coach in order for other people also to get out from their situation. So like me, if I did not hire myself a coach, and I believe that I'm still like being stuck, scared, and being, that a woman that is still stuck in a cave. And I don't like that. So I know that I am here being a messenger and a catalyst for change. And that's why. And I also believe, Luke, that our energy you know conspire to other people. So your energy and my energy, it's kind of like aligned, so that's why we are here today. So yes, and then where can people find you actually, Luke?
Yeah, so if you're watching this replay, do connect with me on Instagram, limitless_Luke. I have a wonderful Facebook community called Mindfully Sculpted. So join our community, and that's where I post positivity resources related to healing, related to your health and wellness journey beyond. And of course, check out my website, has all the links, the things, including more about the Bali retreat. And it's just my name, Luke Lintott, LINTOTT.com. So go visit that site and you'll see, how to connect with me on YouTube, on TikTok, on LinkedIn, because I'm everywhere. And I wanted to mention too, on that note, Amanda, about what you were just talking about, like in this time of social media, right? This is changing the game big time because on the positive, we're getting the education. You're listening to this live right now, this podcast, what have you. Now, on the challenging side, especially if you are an empath, you're a highly sensitive individual, sometimes these really short captions and reels might make you even feel bad for being an empath, right? And being sensitive and being misled. And, there we have these, 7-word posts that have kind of cut off the deeper understanding and the deeper story behind what's going on. And so that's why it's so great, like you're saying, connecting with us. I'm not a real, right? I'm a person, right? We have all these lived experiences. And so like I think like when you really, as opposed to just getting inspired by something that you saw online that really spoke to you, that sometimes that same thing went viral, like come and meet with us, come and connect. Once again, so what I offer to Amanda, to anyone out there, is a wellness prescription session. So that is a free, no obligation session, 30 minutes, where we talk about what's going on with you, what you need. Like we are just talking about, like what you're dealing with, what your dreams are, what you need to get there, and we create a plan actually for your next steps and talk about resources and opportunities to collaborate if that feels aligned, of course. So like do check out my website. You can schedule that session with me. And yeah, it brightens my day because I get messages all over the world now from people who have read my book, who have been following these live interviews and the posts and everything. Because I do just post, I like, of course, and I love social media. I want to be really clear. I love social media. Like Amanda said, like I'm posting all the time about my workouts, my life as a nomad now, since I've been abroad for almost 6 months. And by the way, I'll soon be going to Vietnam, so you'll be able to follow all that fun stuff. And we'll be going to Bali September 22nd to the 27th for the SoulFit Summit Bali Retreat. So do let us know if you're interested in learning more information. And our community is waiting, okay? You don't got to do this alone. And at the end of our retreat, you're not just going to leave with a group of people, you will leave with family, okay? People that are going to connect you with all the good things and help you feel loved. And I want to mention that too before I forget that of course, in this time of social media where we're constantly giving solutions and action steps, I think it's so beautiful at a retreat that you get someone who is listening from the heart, someone who is there with you and what's happening, okay? And so that's something that I found incredibly impactful in my experiences in wellness and in retreat is connecting authentically with amazing people from all over the world, right? So yeah, it's just so wonderful. I just think we're in the best time in human history, Amanda, like that we're connecting right now from different countries and that all you are watching this from any place you are. So come and be the change you desire to see in the world, connect with us, and Yeah, I would love to connect with you. I'll follow you right on back.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing all your life wisdom and experience and expertise here onto the Meet the New You. So, yes, I would like to thank you, Luke, for your time. And we will be also like sharing your link in the comment after this live session. And I will also upload this recording to my YouTube, Instagram, and LinkedIn, like what you said. And yes, thank you so much. And for our listeners today and to those people who will watch the replay, would like to say thank you to all of you. And of course, if you have any questions, do let us know. Reach out to me or go direct message Luke Lintot for your questions. And yes, do reach out also for Luke for the discovery call. So you will get that clarity and answer. And it's all about living your life to the fullest. And it's time for you also to focus into yourself. All right. So this is Amanda now, your host for the Meet the New You, and see you again next time. Thank you so much, Luke.
Thank you, everyone. Bye bye.